Good afternoon. Let us start working again. So today, what do I got to do? Well, the big thing I'd like to take care of is stuff with the camera. So we need to fix quite a bit with the camera. Yeah, definitely. Alright. And I'm still just kind of waking up. So I'll be a little bit slow here to start. So let's take a look at the camera right now and what we've actually got to play around with. Because there's quite a few small issues. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make, I think a test level for it to start with. Something where we can go through our different scenarios for the camera and then fix them. So let's see, the test level we got right now is kind of like, this is good for movement. So let's see what other test levels we've got. I guess we do have literally camera test. So that's the level we should be working with. So why don't we set that to our startup. And let's open it up. So of course our camera is totally messed up there because we are using the incorrectly tuned camera. See, this is a pretty bad level for actually testing the camera. So let's make it better. Alright. So I'm just gonna delete a whole bunch of stuff we don't need. Alright. Let's make sure we actually got everything checked out. So what are the scenarios for our camera? We're going to need to actually make, I think, a pretty big thing for us to actually be able to test. So the different scenarios that we should be looking at are, we should have a vertical jumping section. We're going to need a horizontal jumping section. We're going to need a downhill run. We're going to need like a downhill jumping section. We need like an uphill run. We need an uphill jumping section. We should have a free fall area. We should have a kind of a wall climb area. We'll definitely want like a kind of a hills and valley kind of a grasslands area. And if we can get all these working nicely, then that should be good. Should we also have like kind of an indoors area? See how the camera works there. Alright, so a vertical jumping section. Also, let's take a look at our player right now. What are we using for the player? We've got our player, which is the Bitey close-up player. Let's use the Bitey perspective player. Alright, so it looks like this, which is as you can see, it's you can't really see very far in front of you and all sorts of stuff. Should we be using... I don't think any of this stuff is tuned, so I'm just gonna overwrite a whole bunch of it. So I'm looking at the kind of the player we have right now has this standard camera object on it, which has all of our different values that we can mess with. So let's see. Seems like that's the camera we're using? Man, that's really zoomed in. Alright, so min ortho width, probably we want this zoomed way out. This doesn't seem to be the camera that we're using. Using the perspective player. Alright, the perspective player is using the Bitey perspective camera, which is this thing. So let's set these to defaults and see what it looks like. This is what we had already. Yeah, it's totally screwed up with defaults. What in the hell happened? I'm looking at the values that we have here. Alright, so if we wanted this to be zoomed out more, kind of by default, let's see. Alright, so it looks kind of like a good starting point. So we should start making our level. So we need like a vertical jumping section. So we get like a cliff, kind of a cliff area, sort of going up. Let's also set these things to black unlit material. Yeah, well, I just want like a very basic, the gray. But this is meshes, color calibrator, gray ball. Yeah, it should be fine. I just don't want to use this same material, the one-way platform stuff, unless it's a one-way platform. Alright, so if we go ahead and build kind of our cliff here. Get a nice long vertical section that we have to climb up. So let's see, let's just make this simple. Let's see, what should we do? Kind of just some basic platforms, nothing too nuts. Why don't we also make some interesting terrain for it as well? Maybe angle a few of these things. And maybe we should also try making some of this collision one way so we can jump up through it. That would be interesting as well. What's it at? 25? That's at negative 25. And I'll just copy paste this stuff all over the place here. Ja. Just ran right off. What is going on with that? Is this not a collidable mesh? Collision is terrain. What? What in the fuck? That's crazy. What is going on here? There's got to be some reason why we're just falling off the edge here. It's because our character isn't wide enough? Maybe we're just on the back of this. What is this madness? Okay. Well, definitely something's odd here. Alright, well that's really interesting. Well, it looks like we have some other bugs that we have to solve. Maybe there's something with the geometry that and the angle that was causing physics to go nuts. Well, there's a couple things we can do for that. Let's just make some tests then. I mean, I guess the first thing we're doing is fixing our collision. We've got something messed up there. Obviously we have massive problems. We always have massive problems. So why am I surprised? So what are these hits? This is terrain. Let's double check our project settings for our collision lists. So terrain is all blocking hits, so we should definitely be colliding properly. Well, let's take a look. So we can stand on it, but it's not blocking us from running inside of it. Well, let's see what we're doing in our movement. I guess that's what we're doing to start with, is we're debugging movement stuff that we thought we had fixed last time, but looks like we missed some pretty basic stuff. Like, are we having issues also with we're not colliding when we're in the air or anything. Alright, so what is our collision here? This is so we're gonna grab a whole bunch of hits. Empty. What? Alright, there were actually 4 hits, is what it's saying. Alright. They're all saying that they're not blocking hits though. Like, look at that. It's B blocking hit 0000 on all these. So none of these are blocking hits. What? Why are they not blocking hits? And it's just behaving like a one-way platform when it's not a one-way platform. Like, its collision preset is terrain. Which means we have blocking hits on everything, so why are we not getting blocking hits? And this is floor 13, so we should definitely... Let's see exactly what hits we are getting. So we got 2 hits, neither of them are blocking hits. On floor 13. Let's see, what is going on here? Well, let's Google it real quick and see why we get blocking hits. So I guess, the only things that we'd be looking at would be, it hit the static mesh component. Do we have the type of object it is anywhere here? We have lighting and custom blah. Collision profile name is terrain. collision responses. Like, the collision responses are all here. Like, is it that it's a penetrating hit? So let's see, this body instance is custom. Is it that our player has the wrong trace channels? Scale 3D, blah 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 and blah. Let's see, what is this body setup? It says it's where is it? Alright, it's the... We should have body setup. The body setup should have this thing. It just says custom on it. Physics type default. Well, this one, the default instance has everything set properly, but the... What? Alright, one of these things is messed up. The trace channel is game trace channel 6? Nah, I'm gonna need a piece of paper. So we got our body instance. Our body instance has these collision responses which are wrong. So somehow the body instance on our body component is incorrect. So let's see, it's in the paper flipbook component. Where we actually snag these things. It's like get collision responses for channel. Alright, so get it for channel. The channel is Game Trace channel 7. And this other channel is 6. So this is the channel that we want. So the channel is 19, so we have Game Trace channel 6. Alright. So somehow, yeah, this trace channel stuff is set up wrong to begin with. It's the response lookup. Interesting. So pretty much what's going on here is we're looking at our collision profiles, and the collision profiles doesn't match our trace channel stuff. So let me think here. Like these collision channels, there's only a certain number of them. Ah, closed it. So what exactly do we need to do here? We need to change this logic so that it's not grabbing the number of collision profiles, but grabbing so let's see what's in the F collision response template. Name, object type. Yeah, so we're mapping object types to responses, which is not what we should be doing. Well, let's take a look at what we've actually got. for our settings here real quick for collisions. Come on, open up. I mean, I could just take the first one and just be like, one way always has to be second, which I probably will just go ahead and do that. So kind of a workaround there. But that's fine. It's kind of funny though, like you screw up something like that and then all of a sudden your character clips to the ground. Basically what was going on there is it was treating it like a one-way platform, and when you run into a one-way platform that's at a very large angle from what you're running on, it'll just have you run right through it, because we don't want to stop your progress because you ran into something that shouldn't stop your motion. Or falling through it because you just ran through it. So let's recompile that and see how it works. Gosh, I just feel asleep today. What's going on? Alright, let's just verify that this is actually going to get the correct callbacks then. Yep, all twos and all that. So let's verify. What is this? Unable to place object in new position 1506? Is that movement object 1506? Yeah, we can just... Yeah, it's totally fine. We just had a whole bunch of debug logging stuff out here in our movement object, because that's what we're working on last time, so we kind of have to turn some of that off as we go through it. But it looks like we're not getting stuck into the wall anymore, which is excellent. And I'm wondering exactly what I should do with some of this camera work. Like, should I throw physics on the camera? So, like, if I sweep the camera over to, like, lead the character, that I actually, like, contact the ground or something? And it goes, oh, well, you shouldn't follow over here because, you know, you're colliding with something. Should I do, like, a camera position with, like, a sweep to the player and see if I collide with anything there? I'm not exactly sure. Let's make sure those one-way platforms work properly there, which it looks like they do. And then now I can't run through the wall like I was before. Alright, cool. So now that we've got that thing all sorted out, we can maybe start, making this level a little bit better. Let's see if we got... let's just make sure these are all aligned. 0, and then like... I wish there was a round on this thing. Snap to a certain amount. So we're just going to make this giant cliff thing. Feels like we're probably missing something here. Yeah, like you. So let's just set all that up and see how it works. Let's see, what is my current problem? Well, it's kind of annoying that we can't see Bitey. Like, I would assume like if we were up against a wall or something that, you know, Bitey's face wouldn't be clipped off because of the object that he's up against. It's not a huge issue though. And I definitely want to see farther, but what exactly is the problem with seeing? Like Bitey's staying nicely in the middle of the camera while moving around. Seems like the dynamic zoom out is just not really very good. Like, I usually want to be zoomed out. The zooming in actually is quite annoying. Because our values are 5,000 and 7,000. I mean, maybe it needs to be like, 6,000, 7,000. Maybe that's all we need for. Even that is a huge margin. It's actually not too bad for just jumping around. I mean, there are some issues here where, like, we don't need to see this. We don't need the camera over here. If we had the camera actually, like, try to collide with the wall or something like that. I mean, the issue right now for me is the controls, but the controls are not correct. We'll be working on the controls after we work on the camera. Like, it'd be nice if the camera didn't go as far into the wall. So I guess that's more of the thing, is we want like some sort of test for going into the wall. It's interesting. I'm not really sure exactly what I need to do for that. So the question would be, we should have like a blocking movement check in a direction to see if the camera can actually go over there. The other things that would be nice would be if I could hold up and then look up, and hold down and look down. Alright, we're writing down some of these camera work. Let's see. Hold up to look up, hold down to look down. Possible things to consider. Let's see, camera collision test with terrain. I mean, we specifically do have terrain as a thing that we can test against. And how exactly would we test it to move the camera? Like, what would prevent the camera from moving into the wall here? Like, we could do like a sweep test or something, but the issue would be if we jumped up against this wall here or something, we wouldn't see up. Or if the wall was thin, you know, we wouldn't see beyond the wall. I mean, it'd be something to try, but the concern would be if you're up against any sort of object, you wouldn't be able to see beyond it. So we need some sort of rule this thing could follow to be like, well, don't look over here at all, and maybe we have like some sort of hit test or something that allows us, like we could collide a few objects, like I guess we could combine the hits and be like, well, let's try, you know, centering the camera here and, you know, doing like a sweep out over, and then here it would be like, okay, you know, like let's try to, because the center of the screen is like right here, and try to hit this, it would collide, and then it would try to go farther, and maybe we subdivide the screen or something, so like if, you know, I went all the way over here, I might be able to see farther if this wall was thinner. But if it's like right here, it would be like, okay, we can't move any farther over because reasons. So it looks like it would be an overlap test with terrain. It wouldn't actually be some sort of raycast thing. It would just be some overlap tests coming out. And that could definitely, like, can we see over here sort of stuff can definitely work. So if any of those return true, then we can actually see over, and then the camera can move, or the camera can't move. Alright. Alright, so I think that's the vertical section. And that's like a, yeah, okay, so we need like a horizontal jumping section. So let's make one. And what do we want to make? We want to make something that we're like running along that is interesting. Where there's something that you can jump between. Maybe we've got something sort of like this. Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to exist. And let's throw our start location way over towards that. Right there. So let's see, is this a far enough jump? Oh, it needs to be wider. Wow, Whitey can jump a really damn far away. Yeah, something like this is looking pretty good actually. So what we're going to do is mirror this. Is there a way to actually mirror it? To just like 180 degrees, that whole thing? So let's take a look at what this looks like. Yeah, so this is looking like what I'd like it to be. Something simple but interesting we can run along. Guess maybe what I should be doing is just copying these 3 pieces, but we need it rotated. I guess we need a piece like this.